In this video, I'm going to do another hill climb lesson with my friend Nathan. He's improved massively since the last time, and we were doing a bit more of a basic hill climb. So now we've got a really challenging hill climb for him. Why is this so challenging? Because the soil is loose and there is huge sharp rocks at the top, which is a little bit scary and nerve-wracking even for me to hit. So hopefully with a few tips we can get him a bit further up the climb and maybe even to the top. Now it's too steep to walk up. So first thing to think about when we're riding a hill climb like this, there's a lot of dry dust, which means there's a lack of traction. So what do we do to improve our traction? Well, we need to have a lot of throttle control and a lot of clutch control. What does that mean? It means we don't want to accelerate full gas in a situation or on the terrain where there's no traction. So we need to be smooth on the throttle, and we need to use our clutch to modulate the speed. Talking a little bit more about the clutch, what we need to do is we need to find that biting point and we need to slip that clutch on the biting point to maintain power throughout the bike. What a lot of people do who are newer to hill climbs is they treat their clutch like an on and off switch. Either it's engaged or it's disengaged. When we're tackling tricky hill climbs, we can't ride the bike like that. We need to find that midpoint, that gray zone, and use the dexterity in our finger to maintain power to the rear wheel. Again, if we slip the clutch too fast, that may cause the rear tire to spin and it may cause wheel spin. So what we need to do, steady throttle, slip the clutch. After we get to the halfway point of this hill, suddenly it's a lot steeper and a lot rockier. So this is where we need to load the power to the bike. So what I do is I get over the root just before the steep part of the hill, engage the clutch, full gas, and then when I slip the clutch, I will hold the full revs all the way up that hill to maintain power over the rocks and try and hold some traction.
Couple of questions from me. Obviously, like you said, I'm getting a bit better on my hill climbs, but I'm still slacking in certain areas. So, question number one, is it important when you come to a hill climb to walk the hill? I know it sounds stupid, but clearing rocks out the way before you hit it. Maybe you can just hit it and get up, but I think if you hit it and fail, then maybe clear it out.
So the question about clearing the trail or the hill climb, obviously if we're an enduro race or we're competing, there may not be time for us to walk up the hill climb and clear all the rocks. But when we're having fun and the hill climb's too tricky and treacherous, then yeah, it makes perfect sense. Clear the rocks, make the hill climb a bit easier for you. Something you can do even if you are in a competition or an event is when you're at the bottom of the hill climb, you can use the clutch, slip the wheel spin, and that will clear the rocks of the hill climb and make the run up that much easier to tackle.
Question two is when I come to the hill climb, so I'm coming to the base of the hill climb, how much clutch should I have on and how much gas do I need to have on? And then do I select a point on the hill climb where I need to hit the power band, if you will?
How much clutch and how much gas should we use on a hill climb? That obviously depends on what hill climb we're tackling. If it's really steep, really long hill climb, then at the bottom we may be engaging the clutch, full revs to load that power to the flywheel. Using this hill as an example, it's quite slippery. You kind of got a bit of a turn in. So you can't load the power full gas here, otherwise you will spin, you go sideways and you disrupt your momentum. So what I would advise is on this hill climb in particular, I would use about half throttle, use the biting point of the clutch to modulate the speed. And then we need to find a point on the hill climb where there's either a bit more traction, there's less roots or there's less rocks. And that's where we need to reload power to the bike. So what I do is steady throttle, halfway up. I clear the last route before there's a bit of a run up, before the steep climb. And that's where I engage the clutch, full revs, and then I release that clutch. If I just left the clutch off all the way up the rest of that hill, the bike would start to lose power because the hill climb is so steep and you'd probably stall the motorbike. So to answer Nathan's question, after I release the clutch halfway up the hill climb, I will get back onto that biting point, slip the clutch to keep the revs up and keep power to the motorbike so we don't stall it before we get to the top of the hill climb.
Because for me, I feel like I panic. That's what I do, a hill climb, I panic. So I see the rocks and oh, I don't want to hit them, you know? So I think, yeah, is commitment an important rule as well?
And yeah, commitment is a big issue that a lot of people have. If there's a steep wall that you're coming up to, a lot of people are too scared to accelerate before it. Or if there's big rocks, what people want to do is they want to hit the brakes or they want to come off the throttle. But that is even more dangerous than committing, because you'll get halfway and crash at the worst possible point. So the best thing you can do is make that decision, I'm going to commit, and you just need to go for it. A lot of it is confidence. If you're confident and you believe you can do it and you have good riding position, you should make it to the top.
This was Nathan's final attempt, and after some advice from me, very nearly made it to the top. In these final clips of Nathan and I, you can see the speed difference at the bottom. Now, what this comes from is being able to accelerate without falling off the back of the bike and without wheel spinning. We need to practice drilling, accelerating on flat ground to be able to do it on challenging hill climbs.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, check out the video on screen now. Thank you.